Nasty. That's what my staff sergeant, that's what he called me at OCS. Actually, he called everybody nasty at OCS. And probably the best compliment was when we graduated, we were apparently a little bit less nasty, is the way he said it. But I'm bringing this up, guys, because in today's video, I've got 5 nasty problems that all men face. Nasty problem number 1, athlete's foot. So if you've played sports, you've been in and around men's locker rooms, you probably have heard, hey, watch out for athlete's foot, make sure to wear shower shoes. But what exactly is athlete's foot? So you're gonna see at the bottom of your foot, in between the digits, you're gonna see redness. You're gonna start to see possibly blisters. You're gonna see cracking. You're gonna see peeling. It is where the fungus has infected the skin and in a sense is something that it's starting to spread. So how do you stop it? You actually first wanna use an antifungal cream. That's gonna halt it in its tracks and hopefully start to get it to recede and eventually kill it. Now, how to prevent athlete's foot? Well, shower shoes, definitely wear shower shoes, but also make sure to change out your shoes. You don't want to be wearing the same running shoes, especially if you've got, you're playing sports. You want to maybe have 2 pairs of shoes you're rotating through, even in around your own house. Maybe instead of keeping those shoes on, take them off, wear your socks, allow your feet to breathe. That is going to be key because fungus is not going to grow in a dry space. Nasty problem number 2, Swamp-Crotch. So if sweating, odor, irritation, pain, discomfort, chafing. If this describes your crotch area, you probably have Swamp-Crotch. And there are many ways to deal with it. First, let's look at your underwear choice. So are you using the right type? You're using boxers, but maybe you're going to be better served with a bit of support with some briefs that actually also have an ability to wick away moisture. So look at the cotton that you're using. Maybe you want to go to a micromodal, maybe a synthetic that is made specifically to help pull away moisture, better keep the boys in place. But if none of that's working, if like, Antonio, I'm having some real issues here, what powder do you recommend? I recommend Chassis. Guys, they are the paid sponsor of this video, but I know the founder and I've used this stuff, and this is the best powder on the market for basically eliminating Swamp-Crotch and for allowing you to just feel good down there. And guys, yes, I have tested this, actually ran this through water, so check this out right here. So you mix this with water, and what happens? It does not mix. That's what's amazing about Chassis. It's actually hydrophobic. So that means it doesn't want to mix with water. Why is that good for you? Because think about it. When you're sweating down there, the water is going to go right through basically that layer of powder, and then it's not going to adhere to your skin, and that's going to keep you dry. It's going to keep you confident, because guys, that's what this is about. Why do you use deodorant? You use deodorant because you don't want to smell. You don't want to be embarrassed. You don't want to get those big stains right here in your pits. But the same thing with Swamp-Crotch. You don't want to actually start to, and there are guys I've talked with, they've sent me these emails, they talk about how they're sweating through. If you are one of those guys that you literally feel that people are going to see a sweat stain in and around your crotch area, you want to check out Chassis. I know the founder came out to StyleCon, and this company is the real deal. Nasty problem number 3, gnarly toenails. Now, a lot of guys get this, especially endurance athletes, because think about it. You put your feet in these shoes, you keep them in there for a long time. You're going to go on a 50-mile, 100-mile bike ride, or maybe a 25-mile run. Whatever it may be, you are subjecting your toes and those nails to a lot of pressure, to getting close to each other, and sometimes you'll get cracks. This can incur infections. This can actually lead to fungal infections. So when you're out there wearing those sandals, you're walking around barefoot, your girlfriend looks at your feet and she's like, oh my gosh, you need more than just a pedicure. You need to go see a doctor. And she may be right, because toenail infections can become this can get really bad. So definitely, if it's getting bad, if you are seeing pus come out, if you have some issues like that, your toenails falling off, go check with your doctor. But most likely, maybe you've just got a fungal infection, yes, which will lead to your toenails falling off, but this can be treated oftentimes with over-the-counter antifungal medication. But the best thing that you can do is make sure whenever you take your shoes out, you take your shoes off, that you relax your feet and find shoes that fit you properly. If your toes are getting smashed together, then that's an issue, and make sure to cut your toenails regularly. Nasty problem number 4, bromohidrosis, horrendous body odor. So in any population, when you look at a bell curve, you're going to have a percentage of people who are going to be at one extreme or the other. There are, unfortunately, some of you guys, which after just a short amount of time, have just a little bit of sweat, you are going to smell bad. This oftentimes happens because, okay, so the amount of testosterone in your body, the fatty acids that come out mixed with a certain bacteria that you naturally carry on your body, all of this mixes to create the perfect storm, which is you smell really bad 4 hours out of jumping out of the shower, despite wearing clean clothing. And this is something that can hurt your career. It can have people talking and saying, why doesn't this guy ever shower? And of course you shower. Of course you take care of yourself. And no matter how much deodorant or even you start wearing a lot of fragrance, you cannot cover this up. So what you want to do is figure out how you can control it. It could be that certain things in your diet are actually forcing this out more. Another thing to look at is to go see your doctor. There are certain ointments and types of lotions that you can wear which will actually basically kill that bacteria, and even though you're going to still be sweating and you still have the chance for it, they're going to reduce it, retard the growth of that bacteria. Nasty problem number 5, gentlemen, your clothing smells. Yes, your clothing can retain smells. And you probably have had this happen when you go to the gym, you put on your gym clothes and you washed it, you took a shower that morning, but your gym clothes still smell and you haven't even started to work out. What is going on? Well, if you actually get down to the fibers on those gym clothes, depending on what they're made out of, they actually start to develop small holes and the bacteria can go in there, and all of a sudden when you start to move, it all of a sudden is broken free, it starts to smell. The point being is your clothing can be a harbinger of bad smells. One of the first things you can do with your shoes, with your shirts, your athletic clothing, anything you sweat in, let it dry. Don't just put it in a pile, because oftentimes you can be days till you get to it. And what's going to happen is just going to grow and multiply. The next thing is to actually look for detergents, which actually they say sport on them. Oftentimes these are going to have certain things in them which are going to kill the bacteria. They're going to kill the fungus growth. And that's something you want to look for. But if all else fails, take a cup of vinegar. Put your clothes in there, let them sit for 15 to 30 minutes, let them just soak right in there, and that's going to kill and hopefully get rid of a lot of the smell. All right, gentlemen, so here's a bonus nasty problem. I'm not bringing up a picture for this one, but let's just say dingleberries. If you don't know what they are, well, good luck searching on Google. The point is, some of us are pretty hairy in the backside area, and you've got to deal with just, let's say, leftovers. So what do? Well, carry wet wipes with you. Maybe look at getting a bidet. When I traveled throughout Thailand and Ukraine, that's one thing I thought was actually really smart, is these guys had hoses. They had ways of dealing with this issue. Here in the United States, I don't know why we only have toilet paper. But if you are running into this problem again and again, I guess you could shave, you could wax that area. I'm not going to necessarily recommend that, but what I would recommend is figure out a solution. Gentlemen, that's it for some nasty problems that we as men deal with. The point I want to hit on here is be confident, because you don't want to be having that big meeting and you're getting nervous for it, you're starting to sweat up a storm, and you look at yourself and you're like wondering, oh my gosh, are they going to be able to see that I'm about to sweat through my crotch area? Because that's not going to enable you to go in there with confidence and close the deal. Like I said, we use deodorant, we use things like this to be able to feel good about ourselves because it keeps at bay some of the things, yes, they're natural, but in a business environment, in a dating environment, you don't want these things coming to the forefront because you don't want to be remembered as that guy that had that issue. Now, guys, again, go check out Chassis. They are a great sponsor. I've met the founder. This is the best product for your crotch out there on the market. And check, if you want more, if you've got issues with Swamp-Crotch and you're like, man, Antonio, a powder is not even gonna, it'll help, but I need more. They've actually, so go check out their website. What you're gonna see there are the other products, their shower primer and the extreme cream. I can tell you, for those of you that deal with problems like this company is a dream come true because they focused in on solving this one problem, and I'm proud to have them as a sponsor because I love it when I can actually create content and tie stuff in like this. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you in the next video.